How would you like to make your first million? And today we have Kevin, a serial entrepreneur, international speaker, property investor, and developer, and he's based in Canada. So, Kevin, tell us what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Well, you know what? It's been a great question. And you know what? Making your first million is one of the most difficult things as an entrepreneur you will ever do. Once you make your first million, the rest is easy. And you go, why is that? Well, because the first thing you have to do is you have to have an idea. Now, as an entrepreneur, we all have great ideas. We call it the woulda, shoulda, coulda. Those things are called I should have done it, I should have did this. It's basically number one, it's taking the idea and actually putting it to pen to paper to say, you know what, I'm going to move forward because I have to do something. Now, are you going to succeed? No way. There's no way you're going to succeed. Why? Because the first thing you have to do is you have to understand what is $1 million. Now, as an entrepreneur, we have this fine question. Everybody says, I want to make $1 million. I want to make 5 million. I want to make 10 million. But as an entrepreneur, and you're that first person, wherever you worked before, you're a young entrepreneur, okay? You have an idea in your head and you think, oh, I'm going to be all that in a bag of chips. Now think about this for a second. You have to sit back, relax, and visualize what is $1 million. What is $1 million? What does it buy? Will it buy me a car? A car is 100,000. Will it buy me a house? Well, my house is 280,000. Okay, if I'm going to buy a Rolex watch, that watch is 50,000. Now, can you physically imagine what $1 million looks like? The first thing as an entrepreneur, you have to visualize what $1 million looks like. Because if you can't understand what $1 million looks like, and if you've only made, say, $500 a week or $100 a week, and you're okay with that, oh, I'm comfortable, and you have that little guy on your shoulder that says, oh, you can't make $1 million, that's way too much. No, I'm going to tell you right now, it's easy. Why is it easy? It's about the first step is visualization. Visualize yourself grabbing that $1 million, buying that new car, buying that new house, going on those trips. Now, $1 million's not a lot of money. Think about it for a second. You're going to spend that money real quick, real fast.
Absolutely.
So what do? You got to go to number two. What is number two? Now, what number two is once you've got the visualization of the money, the million's going to seem easy. Now that becomes now the idea. Now, are you the person that's going to implement your idea? Okay, so you're going into business, you're going to make something. Now, are you doing it yourself? Okay, figure out what your superpower is. Number one, you visualized the mindset of what it looks like. Number two, now you have to find out what your superpower is as an individual. Is your superpower about sales? Are you a great salesman? Are you a great accountant? Are you a great collaborator? What is your superpower in business? Because it doesn't matter what the widget is. I can sell real estate. I can sell a pen. I can sell plexiglass. I can sell sheds. I have multiple businesses. But the idea, it's not about the businesses. It's about finding the right people. Now, if you're really good at accounting, stay in accounting, okay? Don't go into sales. Hire the best sales guy. Now, if you're really good with people, great communicator, hire a great accountant. It's great that all of a sudden you can be the jack of all trades, but a master of none. That's what stops an entrepreneur in his tracks. In step number two is that all of a sudden we think we can do it ourselves. Oh, I got to do it. Wait a second. We have new technology today. We have AI. You have all the resources. You have podcasts. You have YouTube. You have all the resources in the world to find the greatest people. Now, make sure that person that you're hiring, or if you're not even hiring or you're looking for that right person, that he's different than you. Because your superpower is this, that you're going to be that laser focused guy, or are you the shotgun? No. To grow fast business, quick business, you have to make sure you hire the right people that are with you all the way. Create a vision, create a dream, but let them do their job. That's the first million, because the first million is we're micromanaging. We're looking, we're going to see this because I've got my heart and soul's invested in this business, and oh, I can't have it fail. I can't have it fail. Oh my gosh. Now remember one thing. Every set of $1 million is made in 3 years. So if you were to think about where you are today, okay, go 3 years from now, that will be your wealth. Go 3 years ago, that was your wealth then. It takes 3 years to make your wealth. You can lose it all, gain it all back, but it's only a window of 3 years. It's not a window of your whole life. Oh, I worked my whole life to get to here. No, it's only 3
Absolutely.
years.
I agree 100%.
Now, let's get into number 3. Now, number 3, you start to build. Now you've got the right people in place, and now you're actually looking about, okay, I got the right people in place. Here we are. Now it's letting them do their job. The problem that we have now at number 3, and you get into that level, you're getting up there, you've got the right accountant, you've got the right people, do your job. As you're doing your job, let them do theirs. Now, a lot of people forget this thing. They think they have to work 100 hours, 80 hours. They do this. That's great. I appreciate the mindset that you're going to work. Oh, I'm going to work really hard. Time out. Take time for your health, wealth, and mindset, because it's one of those things. While you're an entrepreneur and you're growing, you're focused. Okay, you think you're focused. There's times that you have to sit back and assess, get yourself in the social pipeline so that you can do a stand up and look around and look at it as if you're looking down on everything and see what it's doing, because it's easy to work in the business but not on the business. And a lot of people get caught up in that and go, hey, I got a job, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm doing this and I'm working in the business. No, you just bought yourself a job. Okay, yeah, you might make $1 million. Sure, $1 million is fine. But that's not where we want. We want 10 million. We want 20 million. We want 30 million. We want to know what growth really is. And that's the visualization of number 1. Number 3, when we're there, make sure the people are on the bus and you're watching below, seeing how it's actually transforming, and see the vision, and look for what we call is our ghosts. What's going to blindside you? Is it HR? Is it hiring the right person? Is it training? Now, a lot of people will talk about training and getting the right people on the bus, and people say, you know what, you need to take your time hiring, but fire quick. Does it really matter? Get the people in, rotate them, get them in, get them out, okay? Boom. It's all about making action, make things happen. A lot of people will put their whole business plan together. By the time somebody puts their business plan together, I've already eaten you alive. Okay, so the guys that are doing their plan, oh, this is how you do it, this is how you do this. Really? Entrepreneurs, we don't do that. What do? We hire people to do that. That's why I'm able to do multiple businesses, because I can run a hospital. Doesn't mean that I do brain surgery, but I get the greatest people together. Then all of a sudden we create something that's never been created before. And you know what that is? Quick growth, fast and incredible opportunities.
Yeah. And Kevin, the famous boxer Mike Tyson said that everything is planned properly until you receive the first punch. Yes.
Oh, and you know what? You're gonna get. I call it the 5 P's. Okay, and you get hit. Okay, the 5 P's in life: proper preparation prepares proper performance. Pow! Right in the kisser. Now the thing about it is that once you get hit and you get knocked down, it's not about when you get up. It's how
And
fast
you
you get
prepare
up.
very good. You prepare very good. You prepare so well that you were not even thinking that you're gonna get knocked out. But guess what happened? A punch come and so what happened with your plan then?
Absolutely nothing. Who cares? Because what's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing. Brush myself off, get back up. All right, let's go make something happen. If I had the answer and everybody had the answer, everybody would be doing it. But they can't, because as an entrepreneur, us getting hit and getting knocked down, well, are you kidding? That's just life. That's just the way it is. Now, we got that little guy on our shoulders that, oh, you can't do it. Oh, we got the imposter syndrome. No. Everything in life, and I call them sheeples. So think of this. Here's episode number 4 and episode number 5. Society needs great leaders. Great leaders are born by great entrepreneurs that care, have humanity. Now think about this for a second. The average person out there, when you're looking at them, when I call them sheeples, need leaders. Entrepreneurs lead. Yes, we put our chin out there. Yes, we put our ideas. Yes, we do that. Yes, we get hit every single time. But that's why we're called leaders. That's why people follow us and believe in what we do. We can take our superpower for good and lead the people and build great businesses, great entrepreneurship, give back, whatever that is to us. or we can do it the bad way, steal, borrow, beg, whatever that story is. And this is why, as an entrepreneur, you have to make sure you hang out with your top 5. Now, your top 5, and then they're not your friends, family, and relatives. Let's call it what it is here, guys. The bottom line is you hang out with the top 5 people that change your life and make you great. If you're the top of the 5, change your friends. That's the highest you're going to go. And that's okay, because in society and where we're at right now, it's okay to be basement people or balcony people. I prefer to be a balcony guy that's looking, seeing what's going on. Basement guys pull you down. Now, not that it's wrong, but that might be the level that you can only go. But as you visualize and you start getting better, what happens is you create opportunity that you didn't see where opportunity was coming. This is called connecting into the pipeline. And you don't even know you're in jail until you break out. The passion, all of a sudden you see something. And they call this, it's that red car. Somebody says to you, I want you today, after we're done this and you listen to this podcast, I want you to think about all the red cars that you've ever seen. Today, you'll be driving, you'll see every red car around. But then all of a sudden, I want you to think about, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make this much money. I want to own a company. I want to be what this is going to be. I want to have an opportunity. You will visualize and you will see opportunities that you never even thought were opportunities. I created wealth by starting something that I have no idea what it's about. I start podcasting. And today, I have never, ever listened to a podcast. Not because podcasts are good, bad, or different, but for me personally, I've never, ever listened to a podcast. Why? Because it's not about listening to the podcast. It's about the entrepreneurship that's inside to create something that's never been done. How crazy is that? That you can create the narrative where the sheeples follow and you lead and you create wealth. Nobody can ever question your integrity, who you are, how you are, and where you're going. And that belief system that you carry as an entrepreneur inside, you're rolling mountains over. Nobody can stop you. And every little obstacle you run over, are you kidding? It's a growing thing. Okay, everything's growing. Life is growing. That's why we do it. But how hard is it if we actually don't do anything today as an entrepreneur? Oh, poor me, the woe me. Yeah, you shoulda, coulda, would have done that. No, us entrepreneurs have to get up, brush ourselves off, go again. Number 5, when you're actually there, you become self-fulfilled. What does that mean to be self-fulfilled? Is that all of a sudden that internal, are you looking after yourself, your body, your health, wealth, and mindset? Your body is your temple. If you do not have your body, meaning what I mean by that is your health. I make sure that health is the most important thing you have, because if you don't have health, you don't have wealth and you don't have mindset. Why? Because you can't spend it. So what I do, and this is the most important thing, is I'll tell an entrepreneur. Now, somebody that works for a company can't do this. And entrepreneurs, you're going to get this. And it's really important. You remember, you say, oh, I work from 5 o'clock in the morning. I do this. I have the 7 habits of highly successful, or I got to do this. Or, you know what, how do I take my day? This is what it's in social media would say, oh, here's the 10 things that you got to do. No, it's simpler than that. What you got to do is find a place in time during that day that you're the busiest. And I do mine is I never work between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Why is that? Because 2 and 4 o'clock is my gym time. That's when I have to physically look inside internally, work out at the gym, do bodybuilding. I compete in professional bodybuilding. And I did it after 50. I was 240 pounds overweight, sleep apnea,
Wow.
gout.
That's very impressive.
Oh, I had all these things. But the thing, what changed it was because of the health, realizing all the money in the world is not going to give me. My net worth doubled because of that. And I went, whoa, that was easy. It wasn't about working harder. It's working smarter. And taking that hours of work that you work and put your health in there. If you want to have a meeting, come see me at the gym. If you want to do this, and you do your fitness during work hours. A lot of people, oh, I can't do that because of this. I don't have time. You know what? Do you have time to go for cancer? Do you have time to go to the hospital and then take a chemo shot and all of a sudden feel crappy? Or do you have time to get into shape and do that? Because the people you meet, how you grow, and how you portray yourself in the environment that you're in as a leader, people will follow you. And at number 5, when you hit the first million, all of a sudden you get that, it's never enough. And by the way, I'll tell you this, it's like fitness. Fitness, it's rented. Fitness is rented. You have to pay every single day. Just like business, the day you think you got it, the day you think you made your money, is the day you lost it. Because remember, you either grow or you die. You can never stay the same. And we always have to be reinventing ourselves in our head, reinventing ideas, thinking outside the box, and learning what does it take that I can be better as a human being. Once you get yourself into the state of who you are, love yourself, look after your body, keep yourself healthy, very important. Everything else falls into place. Everything you do. One of the greatest things that I'll ever say as an entrepreneur and partnership. Okay. People get into partnership with other people because they think it's easy, it's better, they'll take off the pressure and all this. Think about this for a second, and how do you decide who a partner is? And I'm going to give an example. You grow up with your buddy, your best buddies in the world, and you share ideas back and forth. You share, you know what, he knows your secrets, you know his secrets, kind of thing. You're there. But then all of a sudden, you guys want to get into business together. Okay. Now here's a guy that I'm going to just use this infidelity. Here's a guy that's cheating on his wife. Okay. He tells you, and you're not in a partnership. He tells you, but doesn't tell his wife. Okay. And he's telling you all the secrets. Hey, Johnny, you know what? I'm cheating on my wife. I've got this. She's gorgeous. She's all that. Oh yeah, she's awesome. She's all the. Well, what about your wife? She's my wife. It's no big deal right now. I'll probably divorce her later on. No big deal. Now think about this for a second. Here's a guy you're going to go into partners with. His most significant other, the one he's supposed to love, cherish, and obey, or whatever you want to call that, all of a sudden he's cheating on her. What's the difference when you guys finish your marriage up, meaning you're going down the business path together, you guys are partners, and all of a sudden things are having turmoil, and then he turns on you. He doesn't tell you the truth. He lies against you. Is this a partner you want to get into? Integrity is the most important thing, and a lot of people forget about integrity, and they'll go in with their friends. They'll go in with, their buddy. Oh, because I know everything about him. Yeah, you know everything about him, so you know if he's cheating on his wife, he's going to cheat on you when things are hard. So you have to make sure you follow that line, and you're both in line in the same thing. You could be
And I
different.
like the values. The values.
Is the
Yeah.
key to success. And a
Yeah.
lot of people get burnt and blow up because they don't truly understand what does that mean.
Absolutely. If your main value is integrity, you want people, your partners, the main value has to be integrity. You have to match exactly you believe, because otherwise the partnership is not gonna is not gonna work. And don't get me wrong, there are people out there that they have different values where integrity maybe is not the main core of their answers, and then they also will find partners that integrity is not the main core value, and then we get along just just fine. But for you to bring people to what we call it, to your house, to, like you said, a business partner, like a marriage, you have to be able that make sure that this partner meet and believe the same main core values that you as a human being believe. And talking about the main core values, one of the main core values that we have in our organization, Speakers Ideas, is a speed of implementation. So the other day, no, like 2 3 days ago, we were working as a partnership somehow with the company that to help us accelerate some part of the business, and they were amazing, but they're too slow. So I need to have a conversation with them and say, look, guys, it's not that you're not fantastic, you're amazing. But the thing is that if you guys are slow, this doesn't match with the core value of anything that we do in this organization, because everybody that work in my organization, they fly, and there is two things. This is not my job, doesn't exist on my company, but also the split of implementation. All our team know that. So Kevin, you touch in this space as well, to implement fast versus planning. We're talking about the Mike Tyson and everything. Uh, so in the reality, the faster that you implement, being an entrepreneur is a skill. The more you practice, the better you become. And the failing, the faster you fail, the faster you turn back up yourself, and somehow, without knowing, you're developing the skill of being an entrepreneur. However, this speed of implementation, I know, because you're talking, and I'm thinking, this is me. This is me. Kevin is talking to me. This is me. This speed of implementation, Kevin, especially when you start a business, you don't have so much experience. You have your first product. Nobody wants to buy anything from you because nobody knows you. You're new in the market. And then your supplier want to charge you a lot of money because, again, nobody knows you. So let me charge you more. And then you're trying to find your first client, and then you're wearing all the hats, growing this this business. And then all this negative emotion, Kevin, keep accumulating. You're developing this skill. You have to fail and go back, get setback from everyone, not from the client, not from the supplier, not from this, not from that. And you need to keep pushing and pushing. So all this negative emotion, somehow, even if you make a million, because it's happened to me, even you make that million and you have it, still if these negative emotions are there and you don't manage to release them, this emotional pain can become a physical pain. You can end up overweight, you can end up with a heart attack, you can end up with cancer. And don't get me wrong, how many millionaires we know that they have millions in the bank account and they die out of the heart attack or they commit suicide because still those negative emotions are there, and somehow the entrepreneur didn't manage to let that go and become from emotional pain to physical pain and have an impact on their life. Look at me, I'm slightly overweight because building my business, exactly, creating this skill, I have very unhealthy way of, I didn't have time for anything. So I was starting 5 a.m., working until 10, and then I ordered a big meal in a restaurant. And I was doing this for years, yeah. With done, and so the money was there, but all this anxiety, all this pain, everything is here. And that also might lead you to take wrong business decisions sometimes. So when, Kevin, you find out on yourself, you that own several business, not one is already a lot of pressure, it might several at the same time. So you have to be able to handle a lot of pressure. It's like a pressure cooker 10 times because you own several business. So when do you find out that you really like, hey, I need to look after myself, because if I'm not careful, this business is gonna kill me. When I started my property business, everybody want to speak with me. All the clients have like 177 tenants. All the thing, everyone said, these people gonna kill me. I'm only one person. They don't care. The tenant call you 1 a.m. Everybody don't care. They have so many, and I'm only one person. I'm thinking, if I don't take control of this, these people gonna kill me. They don't let me sleep. So when do you find out, Kevin, that I say, okay, I had to stop here and review, because if I don't take control of me, I'm gonna die with this thing.
So, great question. But the biggest thing that you have to really think about this for a second, think about this: tension relieving or goal achieving. Now, there's a reason why we talk about the 0 to a million, why that is difficult, because it's a sole proprietor. The sole proprietor has the hardest time because he has to find himself as this guy doing this, gets to the million. Now he can hire one or two. The micromanaging of an individual is more difficult, and for an entrepreneur, the leader, okay, to be able to step back and allow the people who you hired to do their job. So when you use the example of you're only one person, the difference is that if you were to sell your business today, so people always say, sell your business, build to sell. Realistically, when you go and sell your business, it's not going to be worth whatever you thought it was, and they're not going to give you what it's thought it is. The bottom line is about you in the business. Now, are they buying the business? Because if they're buying the business, they're buying you as the business. You're going to teach them. Now, if you're all about the business, where they're putting your time and energy, they got to talk to you. That's not a business. Okay, that's your job. Okay, regardless if it has zeros on it and all that in a bag of chips, it has that. The hardest part when growing, when we look as an entrepreneur, is the first million is the hardest, the rest are easy. The first one is hiring your first employee is the hardest one versus hiring 300. And I have over 300. So as a whole, it gets easier, and it's called the lazy CEO. Okay. The idea is you have to make sure you're the visionary over top of the company, looking in and looking down and seeing people, understanding what they're doing, and you have people in place that are to do their jobs. And now we talk about sales, and you were mentioning about sales, and you're going in there, you're doing this, and you're working your hardest, and the money's going up. I'm going to give you an analogy, okay, as keeping it simple and keeping real. The most important thing you do is you have your heart. Yes, I don't have time to work out. No, but you'll have time when you got in a car accident and you're in the hospital for 6 months, and you'll figure out, can your team sustain your business?
Absolutely.
That's when you know you have a great business. So think of it like this. Now, I'm going to use this analogy for you. As greatest success stories in the world, the greatest person in the world, about goal-oriented and making money, and what does it truly take to me? It's like this. There's two horses in a horse race, and the one horse wins by a nose. That horse that won by a nose gets 10 times the earnings, and the other horse only gets a steak knife. Basically, that's it. but he wins 10 times the earning. Now, does it mean the horse that won by a nose is 10 times better than the other horse? No. That day, that race, he was only a difference, but he won 10 times the earnings. Just like that salesperson. Okay, smart risk, great risk, and dumb risk. Now, the thing about it as an entrepreneur, where are you spending your time? What are you doing? Is it tension relieving, goal achieving? Now, are you the jack of all trades master? And I've got all these one-liners, and I call you a guy, a star salesman. He's over here, he's over here, he's over here, he's over here. No focus, connect the dots, he's a star. But the idea is that now let's get ourselves driven so we're focused, so we're not a sniper attack in business. We're not a shotgun attack, we're a sniper attack. And the greatest thing is that when I talk about the horses by one nose, now he wins 10 times the earnings. He's not 10 times better. So think about it this. At the end of the day, you're tired, you're exhausted. But do you go to the bar to meet your buddies? Do you go for a steak because you're hungry? You got all that, oh, I'm done, I'm beat. I had the last, oh, it was terrible. The day was absolutely done. But what happens is you want to make that one last call. That's the call that you don't want to go to. That's the call that you regret. It's supper time. Oh, no one's going to be there. Everything that tells you not to do it, that's the difference. That hair difference, that one difference gives you 10 times the earning. That one call will give you $100 million or 20 million, whatever that is. And you do that every day, that one little thing that puts you aside from your competitors, or as an entrepreneur, when you talk about sales, meeting your customers. Yeah, well, I got to go and do this. I got to do a lead generation. There's actually ways that if you're looking for your customer, it doesn't matter what the widget is. And I don't call it hacks. Proper preparation prepares proper performance. Everything that you do and every person you meet has to have action to it, meaning you have to have intentions. When you leave your house in the morning, you have to have intentions of what you're going to do. You don't go to an event without having intentions. Oh, I'm going to go to this event. I'm going to meet this person, this person, this person. You have to have intention. You have to know who's at the event. You have to know you have 30 seconds on your elevator pitch. You have to know exactly who you're seeing, how you're seeing them. Because usually I'll use an event will be a 1 hour meet and greet at the beginning. Then they're going to have dinner. They'll have a speaker or whatever that's going to be. You need to be in it in the beginning, know who's going to attend. And then by the time the speaker comes, whoever they are, you leave. When alcohol is served, you leave. You do not become the story. You become the action. So Absolutely. As you meet the person, yes. And once you see the guy and you've had that conversation, you'll have your wingman with you. Could be your wife, could be your partner, could be anybody. And everything is choreographed like a dance. You only spend 1 minute with somebody, finish it with a call to action, as I'm going to follow up with a phone call, with an action plan in 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, that you have an action plan. Then you leave. You're allowed to meet probably about 10 to 15 max. That would be your max to do it. You can't sit and have a conversation, buy the guy a drink and talk about small talk. You're there for business. You're there to be the greatest person you ever want to be. So if you're all of a sudden spending your time, well, I got to go to this event, you're doing it wrong. I can go into an event. We know exactly who's there, how they're there. I get there 1 hour before the event. I look at the list, who's there, find out where they're sitting, put my card there, and I'll do a magic trick. Hey, my card will be on it. And then I make sure that I have all my agenda set up for the next week to make sure within 72 hours that I'm physically going to see them. And it's a phone call, not an email, not a text, because it needs to be actionable. And then all of a sudden you close like that. Boom, you win. What else can you ask for?
It's all about, Kevin, to be effective, and it's completely different. It's completely different scenarios when you are that person. You see that you started the business, that you don't want to hire anyone, and you have that ego that you're gonna do everything, and you don't trust anyone, and this is the painful way. And on the other way, exactly what you said, the hardest thing is to hire the first people. But when you hire the first people, you will find out, for me, in my case, they were better than me at everything, to the point that after a year, after 2 years exactly, I arrived to the office and my manager told me, Harry, go home. We don't need you. I'm like, what? Say, we don't need you. We can run and grow this company without you. Stay at home. And I'm thinking, wow, did I make obsolete myself in my own company? What happened? Like, they sent me holiday. What is this? I didn't even understand. So what happened was a transition, Kevin, that exactly what you describing. You become effective. By being effective, you remove that person. You surrender to that ego that you are the best, that everybody had to do what you say, that you have to micromanage everyone. If you drop, I mean, let's face it, we all have ego, because if we don't have ego, we won't be entrepreneurs because we think that we can do better. So every entrepreneur have an ego and big ego. However, if we don't surrender to it and we become that person that you're describing, Kevin, more effective, someone that actually is humble, that start to listen to other people, that is able to release control, because for my team to run my whole company, I had to release control of several actions that they had to take by themselves without me. And I just supervise once a month. I mean, they once a month they will come in to tell me what they had done. That's how it was in my property business at the end, to tell me what they're doing or what I think or what they did. That's how it was at the end. So at the end of the day, Kevin, but it takes a lot. It takes a lot to release control. It takes a lot to trust people. It takes a lot to surrender these to I'm not the genius anymore, because a lot of entrepreneurs, they go to the office, Kevin, and they're living this piece like they are the big shot. They are the big guy. They make it, oh, exactly like you said. They make all the business about themselves. And what happens is when you want to sell it, there is no value in it. Look, I have my cousin. My cousin called me the other day. He has a repairs company. Look at him. Harry, you won't believe what I'm doing. And say no to clients. Say, what do you mean? He has a refurbished company. So what do you mean you say no to clients? Yeah, I'm so good that I'm involved myself with my team in every single project. And we're doing it so well that so many clients are coming, and I'm telling them, no, you have to wait, or you don't work with me, because I'm with my team working, making sure that all the jobs that we take, they are amazing. And I'm telling them, listen, number one, you never said to clients no. Number two, the more you go and work along with your team in each project, the more you devalue your company. There is no value in this, because your team doesn't know how to work without you. And he's like a
And
little bit confused. He's thinking like I'm gonna tell him, "Wow, well done, you made it." I said, "Look, what's going on? How come you're telling no to clients?" So again, Kevin, but entrepreneurs, we need to learn this, because we don't know. Nobody teaches this in the school. So how you learning?
so I'm going to go back on that one statement where you said that guy. You should ask them the question. Maybe your prices are too low. The reason why you don't have customers, or sorry, the reason why you have so many customers, your price is too low. You know what? Profit is
Maybe.
not a dirty profit is not a
Yeah,
dirty word. Maybe
exactly. At
your
least
prices are
increase
too
the
low.
prices. That is something.
Yeah, there's something going. You want to work in
Yeah.
the business? All right, get more margin. Nothing wrong with that. You can work less, make more. So figuring which sandbox you want to play in, that's okay to get into that aspect of it, is finding out which sandbox you want to get in for a margin play. So that's where that builds off of that. So okay, so what was that question again?
About your transition, Kevin, when you realize, when you stop, because we all been there, when you stop to say, I'm the big shot here, everybody
Mm.
have to say what I do, I'm gonna micromanage everybody, and you have this big ego that everybody have to do what you say, and then somehow that Kevin change and start
Oh,
to become a leader, start to become to empower the employee, start to be a person more effective, rather than, you know what, let let me release control, let me allow them to be there, I'm going to overlook, because like this I can get the most of my employees, but also I can get the most of myself, because I can focus in this little thing in my business that we create a huge difference. And you cannot do that if you're micromanaging everyone. And again, the effect that all this stress and
right.
micromanage getting the mental health. So how you change what, because
So
for me, I had to change because I couldn't handle it the other way. I couldn't operate. I was so tired.
yeah. So I run it a lot differently. So I do the things you know that you don't know. So I create companies that I don't know. Example, I'm in the spindle stairs and railings business, but I have never ever installed a railing before in my life. Okay. I have the largest railing company in Canada right now and supply and
Wow,
install.
that's very
Okay. So the
impressive.
largest, very
Very
impressive.
impressive.
And I have never ever installed a railing in my life. I have never ever turned on the machinery in the back ever in my life. As when you find out what your gifts and abilities are, your superpower, you hire the other people in too. So I've always been there as that when I've every business that I'm in, and I'm in the bar and restaurant industry too. But you don't know the bottom line. Do I know how to do
Oh my
foods?
God, this
No.
is tough one. This one is tough. Tell me about it.
Right.
I used to own a restaurant. I lost 200,000.
Oh,
This is a tough business to be. My goodness, a
and we
big
have the
operation.
top. It's a bit, and ours is 16,000 square feet. It employs over
Oh
120
my God,
employees.
Kevin, what a
So
headache. My
no,
goodness.
but it's not because
All
we've got the
right.
greatest people in play. And I've never ran a restaurant, so we make sure we hire the greatest people in the world. And I always, whenever I started with as a railing company, and I started a school, I also have a school because I wrote a book, The Art of Spindle Stairs and Railings. Because why? And by the way, when I wrote the book, the idea was to get installers because as a trade, people didn't know how to get into the trade. They wouldn't share ideas. The bottom line, I was never ever a carpenter, but I knew how to get great people. So I was able to create a foundation of great growth and opportunity. So in Canada, we have a thing called the Dragon's Den, and in the United States, we call it Shark's Tank. So I
In
was,
UK, we have it, Dragon's Den also. We have it in
oh
UK,
yeah, yeah. So you
London.
have it in the UK. So
Dragon's
I was
Den with
on
the same name. Yeah.
yeah. So we have it here, and I was on the Dragon's Den here, and I created a fitness facility and getting into the fitness side with Spartan races, Tough Mudders, and building this. And we still to this day have the best pitch of all times on the Dragon's Den. Now, was it because,
Wow, that's very
okay,
impressive. Well done.
and was it because I was the greatest trainer? No, because I had the greatest team around me to do it. So every time that we do it, and you talked about being fast, yes, you have to go fast to market. If they're not the right people, you fire them. You get rid of them, get the best people in there. Let them do their jobs and get out of their way. For me, I can own 4, 5, 6 more companies really easy, and I don't even
This is
need to
very powerful
know.
concept. This is
Mhm.
power. Let them do the job and you go away.
Oh,
But people don't do
uh,
that, Kevin. Why?
because they don't know what it takes to make $100 million. The difference is they don't know what it looks like. So the difference is of $50 million in this. And you were asking, how did you get that? Well, to get to where I'm at, to actually have that mindset to all of a sudden you're doing this, you need to have mentorship. You need to have the right people that mentor you. They're not your friends, okay? They're not your family. They're not super colleagues. And there has to be what we call as a no ask. They're not there to sell you a product, sell you an idea or anything. They're there as peer to peer. And I belong to an organization called EOMYPO. And what these organizations are is peer-to-peer learning that you can actually, and I've been a member for these for about 25 years. They're like my board of directors. So anything that I'm doing, going to the next level, they help me through that versus the transition. Because we're not just going to be in business, okay? Because we have problems with our family. We have problems with growth. We have HR issues. We have cash flow crunches. We have all these other issues that may not be about growth. It may be about sustainability. What does that look like? Other people have gone through that actual approach, which is EO and YPO, these same mentors. And there's other ones out there called Tech and McKay's. So there's business groups, but there's also smaller ones with you're under the 100, when you're under $1 million, they're called, so you got your Chamber of Commerce, their networking events, which is great, peer to peer, and getting the right coaching in place to make sure that you're moving forward. Careful who get as a coach, because there's one of these things that they always say, those who can't do coach. So make sure the guy that's coaching you has money, has business, has been successful, and kind of watch that. It's kind of like your financial guy. What does he drive? How does he drive? Now he wants all this money from you, yet he doesn't drive or doesn't have money. So that's kind of a red flag. So that's where you go, okay, well, you want me to do all this, but yet you don't have that. So the flags are going up. But the greatest thing about it is making sure you have the team around you and let them do your job. As Richard Branson would do with all his Virgin and with all this Virgin records, everything that he's ever done is and he used to say is that let people do their job. He said, I give them everything they want, just let them go. And it's true. Let the people do their thing. They will do wonders, and you don't know you're in jail until you break out.
Actually,
Because
the
all of a
people that
sudden,
work
bang.
for Richard Branson, they're very happy. You know, they get a lot of benefits and everything.
Yeah,
He treat the
how
employees
wonderful.
very good. Yeah. It's one
And then they
of
give
his
him.
policies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So
So boom. Yeah. And they grow. So talk about great leadership. And you see these guys doing, yeah, oh yeah, but how do you do that? Because this guy has a no, he's doing the same concept. If you're a one-man show or a 10 million man show or whatever that is, it's still the same. Treat people with respect and integrity. And then you don't have to work 1,000 hours. Like I said, I don't work a lot of hours. I'm busier now than I've ever been and doing my social brand, whatever the storytelling at kevinhalliday.com, everything that I do. My name is worldwide, Kevin Halliday, Googled worldwide. I hit every brand in the world. Now, is it because I do this? No, I have great people to make sure that it's put in the right place, right context, and that I can 10 times it even better and 100 times it. What does that look like? What is that? And that's where it all comes together. And you get to see that and you go, well, that was easy. Yeah, it was harder on the first million than it is on your 20, 30 million. I'll tell you right now. So that's where the greatest gifts of the world come into play. Are you creating a job or are you an entrepreneur?
Kevin,
You
let's
have
talk
to
about
define between.
let's
Yeah,
talk about
deeper.
your
Go ahead.
businesses. About your businesses, because 1 out of 5, 1 out of 6 people that come to this broadcast on a stop of 5 step how to make your first million, they are property investors. They are somehow in the real estate space. And I know the some of your businesses are involved somehow in real estate, property, and things like that. So, Kevin, why do you think that property is one of the most powerful vehicles for you to become a millionaire? Or on the second time, we always share in this podcast that the fact that so many millionaires come to this broadcast and become millionaires in real estate, still we have to learn how to do due diligence, because when something goes wrong in real estate, you lose. It's not small money what you lose. Yeah? When goes wrong in real estate, you're talking about 50,000, 100,000, quarter of million, you name it. So, Kevin, what is the reality, or what? Because this question, because you're a serial entrepreneur, when you have different businesses, I had different businesses. I have restaurant, I have academies, school, property. So by now you will know what some businesses require more operation than another one. Some business require more skill sets than other one. Some vehicles are more effective to reach you to a millionaire. The other one. What is your view, the reality of you about business and real estate? Can the people that listen to this podcast that they are struggling or they want to get to this point, the most difficult that you say, go
Oh,
to 0 to 1, use property as a vehicle? What are the pros and
now,
cons?
so here's a pro. I have zero real estate. I'm in no real estate at all. Do I want to be in real estate? Who cares? You know what? It's just another vehicle. It's just okay. I'm going to go to risk and reward. Some say so. When you use the term, okay, you got an extra zero in it. You just add a zero to it, right? So when you lose 50,000 or 100,000, to you that's a lot of money. Somebody might be $100 or $200 could be a lot. And that's where that visualization about what does $1 million look like? The visualization, what does the first million look like? What does 100 million? So for you, when you deal with a 50 million, you go, oh my God, I got my I'm not going to say the word ass or handed to me. I got beat up on that. Yeah, you might have, but does it matter? Because the bottom line is you do the next one deal and you might get it. But that's where the lone wolf gets together. That's the one guy, he's going to go, it's hitting for home runs every single time. When all of a sudden, when we talk about entrepreneurs and the guys that are doing brick and mortar and going in there and they got to do their subcontractor trade, can they make this money? Of course you can. Now, how do you time yourself by 10? How do you ask yourself a better question? What does the market need? What does it bear? Now, let's take real estate right out of the question. And I see a lot of real estate, okay, a lot of people on podcasts, a lot of stuff, and they make 100 million, they do real estate. Then the next guy is going to go and it's either real estate or realtors, okay, one of the two. They're all in there the same. Now, let's just pull those right out of the equation. Now, let's get through the mess. Now, let's talk about brick and mortar. What's happening in your environment? Now, you could be in Britain, you could be in Florida, you could be in Canada. What's trending? Now, is it labor? Is it components? Is it this? Is it food? Is it this? Find out where the pain point is. Figuring out the pain point is, and all of a sudden coming up with the solution that you're there as a solution provider, creating wealth. You can 10 times it any way that you want. Real estate, I find that real estate, the numbers go from 0 to $1 million right away. Great. If you've got lots of capital, all the power to you. But as an entrepreneur starting off, and all of a sudden you're a young guy, you haven't finished school. Okay, hypothetically, you're motivated, you're all that in a bag of chips. You're motivated, but you don't read.
You're
Okay?
full of
There's this, yeah,
full of
yeah,
ambition. Yeah.
yeah, and you've got that power. The greatest gift that you have is right there is that commitment to actually do something. Now, do you want to go into real estate? Sure, go ahead. Do you want to learn that? Do you want to get into this? You need money. But you know what? What's wrong with the trade school? Okay, now take this one more step. Why not be a plumber? Why don't have 500 people? Why don't you have two? All of a sudden, when you were talking about your cousin or had this,
Very
and
good way
he
to
was
get
busy,
into the industry, right?
right? And he said, oh, I'm so busy, I can't take any business on because of this. Well, wait a second. The question to ask is, that's great. I appreciate that. That's a great. I'm glad you're busy. You're going to work on the job site. Yes, because he's really good on the tools. Great, because his superpower is that he's great on the tools. Now he needs somebody to be hired that can take him and 10 times them. So what does that mean? Now, does that mean he has to raise his prices up? Because, okay, now let's do less work, more margin. Okay. Then all of a sudden, we create more wealth, or do what we do is we're right in that sweet zone. Now, what do we do? Do I open up another city? How do I bring the people in? Now you create a school around that training, bring the right people that are motivated. Who are they? Do you buy out the little competitor that maybe has a 1 or 2 trucks and say, why don't we partner up? You take north and wherever that is, I'll take south. We'll buy here so we can have better buying power. Here's how we're going to do our marketing, branding, or whatever that positioning is, letters or emails, Twitter, whatever that storytelling is. Now, let's ask ourselves a better question. How can we make it 10? Next thing you know, you've all of a sudden doubled up. Now, because you doubled up, you're making money. Your investors are going to say, oh, no, you should get into real estate, buy this. Well, buy the building that you're going to go in. Take that, and that's going to be your retirement, because you're going to go in there, and that's the government's going to give you financing for that, or sorry, your banks will give you financing, and then you do that. Oh, but I need 4 or 5 or 6. No. Take it slow. Do it right. Because remember one thing. When the pile goes down, okay, and you've diversified everything with this financial guy, and you got a big business over here running, guess what gets looked after first? Your business with the people. The finance around you, and you're running out of money and you don't have it and you have to do a cash call, guess what? You got to sell this property, you got to become liquid right away. Guess what? That investment you did here, yeah, you made some money. You got to go and put it back in your business. So why would you even bother over here in your business, like in the real estate side? Keep it over here, and 10 times your business in the brick and mortar, 10 times your business in the idea that you're having if you're doing hair salon, if you're doing window cleaning. Now people say, oh, window cleaning, how do I make money there? No, it's not about the one time that you're doing window cleaning. Why don't we sell one item and say, there's 10,000 windows out there. How can I do every one and set up crews? And then how do I take schools?
And they get clean every week. And they get clean every week.
And then I make it worldwide. How did the 1-800-JUNK, okay, here's a guy, he's on the Dragon's Den, he's one of the things. He started a company that was 1-800-JUNK, and all he did, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but all he did was he had a phone number, and he had a van. And all he did is he went to your house, collected your junk, 1-800-JUNK, and took it to the dump. That was it. Guess what? He's worth billions, and he's all over. And he started with one idea. And the idea wasn't about the real estate. The idea was all about, he was carrying junk from one end here. And what he figured out, what was the pain point? What was the question that he had to ask to keep it easy for everybody else? So here we are, fast track to where we are. What's our pain point? Uber's up there. And during COVID was the first time in history. Have you ever heard of unicorns? So a unicorn is a company that goes from zero
to a million, yeah.
To a billion. Billion. During COVID, there was 14 unicorns born, billion-dollar companies.
Wow.
Before that, there was only 2. Why is that? Because what happened was we asked ourselves a better question. If the world is like this and whatever, and it wasn't real estate, okay? It had nothing to do with real estate. It had to do with everything else besides that. AI is coming in. If you go back a year ago, nobody even knew, or a year and a half ago, didn't know too much about AI. Oh, it's going to take this, it's going to do this. Well, you know what? So did the internet back in the day. So what we have to do is we have to sit back, look around and say, what are our opportunities that we can create wealth without knowing that we're going to create wealth? That's having an open mindset to be able to go, the things you know that you don't know. And the brick and mortar guys, the guy that's passionate, the young guy, if you have that passion and belief inside you, it doesn't matter what you sell. And I always say this, do not go into business with something you love. That's the last thing you want to get into business. People say, oh, you got to love what you do to go into business. No, that's the last thing you want to do. Don't go into something that you love, because you know what? You're going to fall out of love with it. Then it becomes determination. Then it becomes this. That thing, it's like a wife, right? You get married, you're in love with it. Then eventually you don't fall in love. You lose love. Well, do you divorce her? Do you leave? Well, a lot of people do. If you can stay with it, you'll create wealth. Just like a business. You're going to hate it. And you have to go through the good times and the bad times, and you do it. That's where it comes into it and say, well, I don't really like this. I'm in the railing business, spindle stairs railings. It's not sexy. It really isn't. But how do I make it sexy? How do I take something that nobody's done and create something that all of a sudden it becomes the wow factor? And that was the whole idea. It's like, what am I missing? Now we do whatever the storytelling is. We build kits. We do this all worldwide, and we do this, which is great. But everything that I did in all businesses that I created had to be done the same way, with the wow effect, with bringing in great people. Now, I would hire people. You'll love this story. Hire people, and this is where the hire fast, whatever they want to call hire fast, fire quick, hire long time, whatever. It makes no difference. Bottom line is when you hire somebody, you truly don't know what their gifts and abilities are. You hire them for a sales position. He's going to write on his resume, oh, I work for this, I'm all that in a bag of chips, whatever. But the difference is it takes 3 months and you find out who they are. But the
Until
difference
they
is,
start to perform, it's very difficult
say
to
they
predict
don't.
that. Yeah.
Right, and you don't. And say they don't perform. Well, what that means is you didn't ask a better question. What are they really good at? All of a sudden you find out that this guy is a great IT guy. He worked over here, but you put him in a different thing and he interviewed for this. I hire guys, and this is why I'm able to start other businesses. I hire guys and all of a sudden they're telling me that they're really good at this. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually set up a company. Yeah, I'm going to build you a company. I'm going to actually take your idea. If I can sell one, because I can sell anything. If I can sell one, which is easy, cost, whatever that is, I'll meet and say, here's the idea. I sell one, I'll set your business up. I'll give you the business, you do it, we'll partner up, and then you do it. I'm not there to take the money. I'm not here to do this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it takes to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to make you a subcontractor in this field, or if you're doing this, I want you to do this because that's what you're really good at. You're not good at this over here with me, right? But I'm not going to fire you and let you go. I see an opportunity that all of a sudden I could create another wealth opportunity. He's going to run it. He's going to go, oh my gosh, I can do this. He's going to run, and I get to sit back and watch the horses run. This guy's going to run here. And you know what? I win. He wins. And all of a sudden, he's finally got to listen and hear what I had to say, vice versa. And he's going, thank you for taking the time to help me grow.
You know how many people we wish to have a mentor and a coach when they started the business. You know how hard. Well, you know how hard it is when you don't have these role model, these friend. One of the reasons that we're doing this broadcast is exactly for that. So the entrepreneurs starting a business, they know that there are role models out there, that they know people that have experience that can make the path so easy and what we call it with less resistance. The other day in this podcast, one guy asked me, Harry, what is the fastest point from point A to B? And I said, what? The straight line? I told me, no, Harry, is the path with less resistance. Think about the rivers. So when you have a mentor, you have a coach, when you have someone that is good at this, of growing businesses, and you only need a good product person that is passionate as you, that meet your same values, and that's it. There you go. You have another wealth avenue. Kevin, I congratulate you for everything that you have done, for all your company successful that you have created, for what you represent, because those companies generate jobs, generate income for the family and for the society. And like I said, you have over 300 employees working for you. That's really, really very impressive. So, and for all of us listening the broadcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like Kevin break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.